Hello and welcome to another video from Natasha Lee. You've all been wanting to see an acrylic application video of how I do my overlays, and so I've brought it to you here, nice and easy and quick to follow. I'll include some of my hints and tips on how I get a really perfect finish. Stay tuned to find out how. So I actually have 4 videos for you in this series, and this is number 2, and they were all filmed all in one sitting, so you can actually get a feel for these sort of appointments and these application and removal. So if my gloves look dirty, it's because I've already removed the acrylic off the nails, and I have a video up in the top right corner of where you can find out how I did that. Once I've performed cuticle work, which also there'll be a link in the top right corner to show you how I do that, it's time to cleanse the nails, and I'm using a mix of isopropyl alcohol and pure acetone. Make sure you've removed all the dust and that the cuticle area is nice and clean, and that you've buffed the shine off the nails with a 240 grit file. It does not have to be an aggressive etching, just a gentle one. I'm then going in with my Nail Harmony pH bond, and this is just a dehydrator that I like to apply onto the nails, and then going straight in afterwards with my Nail Harmony Pro Bond, and that's an acid-free primer. And links to all the products are in the description. The liquid and powder or acrylic I'm using today is Prohesion from Nail Harmony, and we're going to begin by burping our brush, and that's where we turn it over and push it down into the monomer, and that's to remove any air bubbles and ensure full saturation. And then I'm just going to pick up a bead by running my brush through my acrylic powder or my polymer, and we're going to pat it down onto the nail. I already have put one at the tip here, and I'm going to show you that in more detail in just a moment. But I just wanted to cover the fact that one of the most important things when you are applying your acrylic to the nail is to make sure that you pat and push it into place. The patting and pushing is what ensures that you get a good adhesion to the natural nail, as it helps the bonds form. Also, when actually applying acrylic nails, you should always aim for your brush to do the majority of the work with shaping the nail and smoothing it out. The file should just be for finish filing, not for creating the shape. But I can go over this in a bit more detail in just a moment. I just wanted to show you a bit of a close-up first of how to use your liquid and your powder. So, beginning on a bare nail, I'm going in first with a bead at the tip of the nail. And I normally apply 2, sometimes 3 beads to the nail to build up my shape. Because I'm just doing overlays here, I'm going in with a clear, and as you can see, I've applied it to the tip of the nail, and now I'm just pushing and patting it down over the nail before it sets. I am working quite wet here, just purely because I've got so many studio lights on. It heats up very quickly and does mean that my beads can dry out a bit quicker. And I'm just going to keep patting neatly. Make sure you keep that product off the skin, and keep looking from the side to make sure you've got a nice shape as you're doing it. Then I'm going to go in with a second bead and keep this away from the cuticle area and just feather it in. You can see I'm doing all the work here with the flags of the brush, and the flags is that point right at the tip, and this is why I keep my brush really neat. Now from the side you could see there was a bit of a flat area towards the tip, so I'm applying a little bit more acrylic and then just smoothing it over. And just keep patting and pushing until you've got it into place and how you like it. When you're happy with the shape, stroke over the top of the nail to smooth it out. And just again, a close-up for this is apply a bead to the tip of the nail. And you can do this too over tips, it doesn't have to just be overlays. If you've already applied your tips, you can just do this over the top. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm using those flags or the tip of the brush to just pat it gently and push it into place. We want the majority of the product down the centre of the nail, and we want the product thinned out to the sides of the nail. Make sure that you've kept the end carefully with that acrylic and there's no sharp bits sticking out, because as it dries that can actually be quite painful. And once you're happy and you've neatened the whole area up and you've covered all the natural nail, it's time to go in with your second bead. And when you apply that bead, just push it down for a second, give it a moment to settle, and then start to move it to where you want it to be. And we're pushing it down again. That is just to create that bond between the acrylic liquid and powder and your natural nail. That's how it stays stuck to the nail. On this nail, I have decided to go in with a third bead to show you around the cuticle area, and this is just to make it super neat. So we're keeping that actual product away from the cuticle area, and you can see as I'm patting it and pushing it, I'm doing it away from that cuticle area, because if we get any acrylic stuck on the skin, as your skin gets wet when you wash your hands and things like that, it will start to lift straight away. If you can, try and keep your brush and the liquid that's on your brush off the skin around the nails, as over time that can build up and cause a reaction to the product or an allergy. So just another close-up on another nail, just to show you around the cuticle area. If you do find that your brush is a bit too wet with the monomer, that's the liquid, then dry it off on a pad or clean it off on a pad before you go back in to smooth around the skin. We want to avoid as much as we can getting that liquid on the skin. And after getting another bead, I'm just going to add a small bead towards the tip, because looking down the side of the nail, I realise there's a bit of a flat spot. It's quite hard working like this under camera, and in a normal situation sat at a nail desk, it's much easier when you're just chatting with a client. When you're happy with the way it looks, smooth over the whole lot and pat into place before allowing it to set. And finally again, I'm just going to show you on another nail how we apply to the tip. And you can see the real key here is you are working quickly, but don't panic. Just keep patting and moving that product where you want it to be, constantly moving that brush over the nail so you really get that beautiful smooth finish. That means the amount of filing you have to do is so small, and it makes it so much quicker applying a full set. Also, just with regards to filing, I will be doing a full and separate video on how exactly I file to get that perfect finish I get on my nails. For this video, this is just to show you the detail of the application itself. That way you can pick and choose between the video series of which ones do you feel you need to watch to give you the most help. I will say I do find applying acrylic nails really therapeutic if you're working on someone nice and easy like my sister-in-law, who has beautiful skin and lovely nails. And with regards to filing, how do you know when it's safe to start filing the nails after applying the acrylic? Well, I find it best that if it looks like it's set, I tap it with a nail file. And if it makes a nice crack sound like plastic, then I know it's dry. Also, when you're actually filing acrylic nails, do make sure you don't go in with anything rougher or more abrasive than a 180 file on fresh acrylic. That's because it can take up to 24 hours for acrylic to fully set after application. If you use a file that's too abrasive too early on, or you do things like tap your fingers on a desk, that actually can put microscopic hairline fractures into the acrylic, which will cause an inherent weakness with that set, and it does mean you can possibly have service breakdown. Now, with regards to filing, I am going to brush over this one quite quickly for you, and I will bring you a filing video in the next 2 weeks, which will detail all my hints and tips for perfect filing. If, however, you find that your filing is perfect, then that's not something you really need to worry about. Once you've got your enhancements, which is another name for fake nails or extensions or acrylics, and you've filed them nice and smoothly, you're ready now to either go in with a gel polish or leave them naked after you've cleansed the dust off them, or you could actually even just go in with a regular polish. On my sister-in-law's nails, I am going to do a gel polish with glitter, and that is for another video as well. I have been working quite a bit in advance for you guys because it is the school holidays, which does make it a bit crazy for me doing videos. If you want to find out how to produce these beautiful pink holographic gel polish, that one is coming very, very soon. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Please don't forget to sponsor me on my Total Warrior race, which is on Sunday. I've put the link in the description down below, and it's in honour of autism awareness. Thank you, everyone.